My video of taking on a side gig playing a ruthless bandit went viral on the trending list, and my agent rushed me into an escape reality show overnight. Of course, I wasn't the one escaping. It was the guests. I chased the fleeing guests with a machete in hand. Sis, spare the kids, please, sis, the best actress ran that way, she's worth a high bounty, hurry, and chase her, sis song, I lured the best actor over here. If you catch him, you can't catch me. Okay, back when I first debuted, the innocent, pure persona was all the rage in the domestic entertainment industry. The company set my career direction, the one and only pure white camellia in domestic entertainment. I stayed up all night cramming on the innocent flower persona, but I ended up overdoing it. My character took a wrong turn, and I became the entertainment industry's universally recognized scheming green tea. Whenever netizens mention me, they always refer to me as that green tea instead of using my name because my green tea persona is so deeply ingrained in people's minds. My acting opportunities have become limited to make ends meet. I secretly took on a side gig behind my agent's back. The kindergarten organized an anti-terrorism and anti-violence drill. I played the role of a masked bandit, wielding a prop kitchen knife and wreaking havoc in all directions because my acting was too convincing. Bystanders mistook it for real and stepped in one after another, attempting to subdue me. I single-handedly took down over 50 teachers and security personnel from the kindergarten, captured over 400 hostages, and successfully defeated more than 20 well-meaning passers-by. At the same time, 4 patrol officers were apprehended, eventually drawing the attention of the authorities, and a video of her being captured by 2 elite forces went viral. Hashtag ruthless bandit Song Xingyu. Hashtag the ruthless nature of the green tea bandit. Hashtag counterterrorism exercise encounters real police. Must award an Oscar for Best Actress to the terrorist. How does this woman have such an innocent face, yet act so fiercely? Some people seem to put on a mask, but in reality, they take it off. That green tea is so fierce, single-handedly wiping out over 500 people from the garden faction. Totally badass. I binge-watched Sister Song's drama overnight. She's either playing a green tea or an invalid. Why hasn't any director cast Sister Song as a ruthless bandit? She's basically playing herself, right? I looked at the bizarre comments, feeling a deep sense of sorrow. 10 years of green tea roles went unnoticed, but one bandit role made her famous across the land. If it weren't for the director stepping in promptly to explain the situation, I'd still be singing the blues behind bars right now. My side gig was eventually discovered by my agent, Sister Zhao. Sister Zhao stormed over to me and slammed a stack of documents onto the table in front of me. Feeling a bit guilty, I was just about to try reasoning with her and appealing to her emotions. Zhao Jia suddenly laughed. Here are a few scripts with roles different from the usual ones. Which one do you like? Me. Is this for real? Because my green tea persona has become so deeply ingrained, the roles I'm offered are always those of the quintessential green tea characters, ones that are annoying and unpleasant. I flipped through the documents and glanced at a few pages. Character 1. In a period drama, playing the bandit leader who gets wiped out by the female lead in a satisfying revenge story. Character 2. In a period drama, playing the brothel madam who forcibly takes the male lead and ends up being killed by him. Character 3. In a modern drama, playing the one-eyed female dragon, the second in command of a gang, who gets repeatedly humiliated by the male and female leads. I summoned a hint of moisture in my eyes, looked up at Sister Zhao with the pitiful, innocent expression of a green tea girl. Sister, are these the only scripts? I'm not saying I don't like them, but they just don't suit me. Please don't be mad. Sister Zhao paused slightly, then patted her forehead. Oh right, there's also an escape reality show that sent you an invitation. Guest. Sister Zhao shook her head. No, it's for the role of Hunter. Hunter. This major is perfectly suited. I excitedly slapped the table, and there was a creaking sound. Several cracks appeared on the surface of the table under my hand. My heart skipped a beat. Oh no, I'm going to have to pay for this again. Sister Zhao gritted her teeth and said, Song Xingyu, this is the 10th table you've broken. The compensation will still be deducted from your appearance fees. On the surface, I looked tearful, but inside, I was cursing. Why am I poor? Because the little money I earn from my few gigs is all used to compensate Sister Zhao for her office supplies. I have a reasonable suspicion that Sister Zhao is scamming me. What kind of table is this, with such poor quality? Call me, and I'll file a complaint. The recording location for Season 2 of Celebrity 7-Day Escape is in the Wanji Primitive Forest. The guests spend 7 days in the forest with a basic supplies pack while evading the hunter's pursuit. When I arrived at the scene, 4 regular guests and 2 flying guests had already entered the forest 2 hours earlier. I nervously approached the director and cautiously asked, "Director Jean, how should I act? I don't have much experience." Director Jean glanced at me. "You have experience. The hunter is essentially the same as the ruthless bandit you played before." My eyes lit up, and I instantly gained confidence. "Yes, Director, I guarantee I'll complete the task." Seeing this, Director Jean felt an ominous premonition and quickly added, "You should still take it easy." After giving Director Jean an okay gesture, I started reading the bounty announcement. The bounty amounts varied depending on the status of the guests. Triple golden. Award-winning actor Jiang Yendu offers a reward of 1 million. Double golden. Award-winning actress Su Lanin offers a reward of 800,000. Rising top star Gu Yicheng offers a reward of 700,000. Popular singer Chi Hayu offers a reward of 660,000. The above 4 are fixed guests, while the other 2 flight guests, Xiao Yubai and Feng Zhuqing, are both worth 50,000. Only children make choices. Mature bandits naturally want them all. A few minutes later, Director Jean announced the official start of the recording. I picked up the hunter's props and the bounty list, intentionally lagging behind a few steps. I waited until the other 6 hunters had gone far away before running toward another path. "Sorry, teammates, I just want to keep all the spoils for myself. There's no other way. I'm too poor. I still have over 100 people under my care to support. If it weren't for supporting my family, I wouldn't have entered this fast money." Entertainment industry. Little Gold Masters with a total value of 4,160,000. This fierce bandit is coming for you. The live broadcast started as soon as the guests embarked on their escape journey. The production team had previously installed hidden cameras throughout the forest. The remaining live footage is provided by portable cameras worn on the chests of the guests. The advantage of this live streaming method is its strong sense of immersion, while the downside is that the camera is prone to shaking. Friends who get motion sickness from 3D visuals might find it quite a challenge. The guests are located deep in the forest, where there is a natural cave. In front of the cave, several lush vines add a touch of concealment to the entrance for safety reasons. The 6 guests have chosen to stick together for warmth. Since the guests had already eaten breakfast before setting out, they were in no hurry to start a fire to cook. Jiang Yendu sat on a rock at the entrance of the cave, carving wooden arrows with a dagger, the stray strands of hair falling naturally over his forehead softened the cold, aloof demeanor of his refined and noble appearance. Su Lanin and the other 2 female guests, Chi Hayu and Feng Zhuqing, sat inside the cave discussing skincare tips. Gu Yicheng and Xiao Yubai went to explore the nearby area, picking some wild fruits along the way, and if they were lucky, they might catch some live game like rabbits or pheasants. "My Dugu is too handsome. Stop carving wood and come carve me. I have thick skin, ha ha ha." I really want to tell them that the hunters have already entered the forest, yet the sisters are still leisurely discussing skincare tips. "Don't worry, my Yicheng is a master of Taekwondo. He wouldn't be afraid of 10 hunters. When it comes to Kung Fu, I have to give a shout out to my brother Du. For filming, he specifically trained with martial arts master Song Yan. Just a friendly FYI. Song Yan is the 108th generation successor of the Wuzong School, a martial arts master recognized by the National Sports Bureau. As a Wuying-level athlete, he once represented the country in competition, beating a Japanese opponent so badly that they cried out in pain and surrendered on the spot. Let's put that aside for now. Does anyone know who the monkey swinging on vines in Hunter No. 7's livestream is? Thanks for the invite. I just went over to take a look, and as someone who gets motion sickness from 3D, I almost threw up from all the swinging. Hunter 7 livestream. I was thrown into the deep mountains and old forests by my father for training since I was a child. For me, going into the mountains is like going home. In order to quickly secure the little patron and return early to slack off, I put on gloves, climbed up a big tree using both hands and feet, grabbed the vines wrapped around the tree, and activated the Tarzan mode. Netizens who came over from the guests' livestream were completely stunned. The guests' livestream is peaceful and serene, but why is the hunter's livestream just a monkey performing? Truly hard to describe in a few words. Who remembers her persona was supposed to be a scheming green TB*TCH. Sis, slow down, I'm getting motion sickness. Upstairs, can't you fly either? Sister is trying aerial acrobatics for the first time today. Huh, why does this scene feel so familiar? I remember a short video that went viral 3 months ago. It was a team of traditional Chinese medicine scholars going into the mountains to gather herbs, and they happened to capture a monkey swinging through the forest. I just searched and watched it again, and the monkey's figure is almost identical to this sister's. I was in that team at the time, and I have to clarify, Ms. Song is not a monkey. She led us to find rare and precious medicinal herbs and helped us fend off a pack of wolves. My master insisted on forming a sworn brotherhood with her, but Ms. Song refused on the spot. My master was heartbroken about it for over half a month. I checked Song Xingyu's schedule. She did take a vacation 3 months ago and was absent from the entertainment industry for a full month, so the green tea persona was just her disguise. If she had shown her true nature earlier, she might have become famous long ago. While wandering through the woods, I picked a few clusters of wild berries along the way. The berry juice resembled blood, looking a bit unsettling, but it tasted absolutely delicious. I stuffed the leftover berries into the pocket of my jacket while the other hunters took the land route. I chose the shortcut through the air, saving a full hour. I'd been to this forest before, and I suspect the guests are staying in the cave in the middle of the forest. During my last training expedition, I stayed in that cave for over half a month and even buried a jar of newer Hong wine underground. I crouched on the tree trunk and took out my binoculars to scout the area around the cave. I didn't see any people, but I did spot a drone pulling an airdrop heading toward the guests' vicinity. Airdrop supplies, definitely can't give that to the guests. I grabbed the vine, kicked off the tree trunk, and propelled myself towards the drone. Jiang Yundo, who had just walked out of the cave, was momentarily stunned. Did something just fly by? The 3 female guests turned to look at him, their faces filled with confusion. What did Xiao Jiang say flew by? Jiang Yunfu rubbed his eyes. Probably just my eyes playing tricks on me. I stood on the branch, swung the vine in my hand, and directly reeled the drone in. I turned off the drone switch, took the supplies, wrapped it with the vine, and claimed the drone for myself. I sat cross-legged on the tree trunk, opening the blind box. A big pot, a dagger, 2 potatoes, 5 old-fashioned buns, and a packet of curry. Not bad. Catch 1 more chicken and you can make a pot of curry chicken. Director Jean, watching the live broadcast from the camp, could only feel his head buzzing. What kind of ruthless bandit did he end up finding? Jean picked up the walkie-talkie, ready to instruct Song Xingyu to put the drone back. The assistant suddenly mentioned that the number of online viewers in Hunter 7's live stream had surged, exceeding 500,000. Jean glanced at the number of online viewers in all the live streams from the back end and silently put down the walkie-talkie. As a seasoned director, he knew to broadcast what the audience loved to watch. Speaking up for the guests or anything like that, not happening. The live stream was buzzing with excitement. Ha 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 ha, I'm dying of laughter, laughing so hard the sky is falling and the earth is splitting, the autumn waters merging with the endless sky. This green tea is definitely not an ordinary person. It's the first time I've ever seen someone directly hijack the show's drone. Bandit Song Xingyu, the bandit herself. Wow, after flying a few times with Bandit Sis, I feel like my fear of heights has lessened a lot. Is Bandit Sis planning to catch a chicken and whip up a curry chicken on the spot? I crouched on the tree trunk, munching on a steamed bun, while voices of conversation drifted over from not far away. I took out my binoculars and looked, comparing them with the photos on the bounty sheet. Wow, a whopping 500,000 plus 700,000. The 500,000 was holding a few wild fruits that would kill you if eaten. The 700,000 was carrying 2 wild chickens. Oh no. 2 very illegal wild chickens. Falco subutio, a national second-class protected animal. The crime is highly punishable. As a seasoned bandit, I cannot let any guest with a massive bounty slip away. I bit into the leftover steamed bun, pulled the vine, and swung over. I descended from the sky, landing steadily in front of the 2 of them. Xiao Yubai instinctively exclaimed, "Holy crap," and the wild fruits he was holding fell to the ground. Gu Yicheng, holding 2 saker falcons, took a step back and assumed a defensive stance. I smiled and approached them. Hee hee. I pulled out the big guy from behind, ready to take down the 2 of them. Suddenly, a furious roar echoed in my ears. I had no time to deal with the roar coming through the headphones and subdued the 2 of them to prevent them from escaping together. I tied each of them to a tree and stuffed half a steamed bun into each of their mouths. Xiao Yubai's eyes were clear but filled with confusion. I crushed the wild fruits he had picked right in front of him. Xiao Yubai was completely emo. I turned around and released the sparrowhawk whose wings had been bound. The Eurasian hobby, now free, affectionately rubbed against the back of my hand before flying away. Gu Yicheng's face turned black as he watched the pheasant he had finally caught be set free. I sat on a rock not far from the guests, gnawing on the last half-steamed bun. The live stream exploded. Oh, Didn't the Goo fans say your brother was really skilled? How come he was caught by the fierce sister in less than a move? Professional players are prohibited from participating. Sister T. Oh no, it's Sister Han. I'm directly bowing down to Sister Han. If I'm not mistaken, Sister Han's move is a long-lost martial art. TT, how many more surprises do you have that I don't know about? I called my master to watch the live stream, and my master directly knelt on the ground. Not only did he kneel, but he also pulled me down to kneel together. My master said that the Green Master Song will be an honorary ancestor of our Dongwon sect from today onwards. I, the third prince of the West, am the first to disagree. Director Jin's voice came through the headphones, his tone carrying a pleading note. Please, Teacher Song, have mercy, the show just started, and you've already caught someone. How can we continue recording? I calmly responded, this makes things very difficult for me. Director Jin understood the underlying meaning and began to tempt me with money. Xiao Song, I have a new task for you. Go undercover among the guests while keeping your identity hidden. If you successfully stay undercover for a day, you'll be rewarded with 1 million. Suppressing my excitement, I let out a light hum and asked, what about the bounty for the guests? On the last day, I won't stop you. You catch how many guests, you get how much bounty. Director Jin squeezed his wallet. Feeling a pang of pain, I pressed further. What if the guests ask me to prove my identity and confront the hunters? Those hunter colleagues have seen me and know my real identity. Don't worry, Teacher Song, I'll inform them that from now on, the hunters don't know you. I knew when to stop and saluted the invisible camera in the tree. Mission accomplished, guaranteed. With that assurance, Director Jin breathed a sigh of relief. He cut off the conversation and started complaining. Besides you, this ruthless bandit, who else could be considered a hunter? All the other hunters are completely wiped out. Upon receiving the news, 6 hunters had just entered the forest when they fell into a swamp one after another, like dumplings in boiling water, sticking together without separation. I stepped forward to untangle the vines from the young master's body. Xiao Yubai was filled with confusion. Gu Yicheng looked wary. I flashed my signature fake smile. Ha ha ha, it's all a misunderstanding. I'm also a guest performer. Gu Yicheng's expression remained frighteningly dark. He spoke without holding back. Misunderstanding, you didn't hold back when you made your move. Under Gu Yicheng's questioning gaze, I began to argue my case. This is like a flood sweeping away the Dragon King's temple, almost taking out our own people. Gu Yicheng's expression remained grim. I suspect he's still upset with me for letting the sparrowhawk go. You really misunderstood me. I thought you were a poacher. I let the 2 pheasants you caught go for your own good. Gu Yicheng frowned. I pulled a palm-sized notebook from my pocket, found the page with the Eurasian hobby, and handed it to Gu Yicheng. What you caught isn't a wild chicken, but a Eurasian hobby, a second-class protected animal in China. I observed Gu Yicheng's expression and noticed his face had turned slightly red. As a public figure, what are the consequences of hunting and killing a second-class protected animal during a live stream? I shouldn't need to spell it out, right? Gu Yicheng naturally caught the implied meaning in my words and spoke with a hint of embarrassment. Thank you. He looked at me, his voice barely audible. Could you lend me this notebook to read? The wariness in his eyes faded, replaced instead by a trace of pleading. I directly take back my notebook. Not lending. Gu Yicheng raises an eyebrow and asks succinctly, how much? I wave my hand. Gu Yicheng understood. 50,000. Ah, yes, alright. I'll give it to you after we're out. Deal. After clapping hands with Gu Yicheng as a pledge, I handed over the small encyclopedia of forests with both hands. The small book, bought for 5 yuan, was resold for 50,000. It's really easy to make money from the little patron. Xiao Yubai peeked out from behind Gu Yicheng, showing half of his head. Then why did you crush the fruit I worked so hard to pick? Xiao Yubai's eyes were clear, faintly revealing a touch of foolishness. Before entering the forest, I specifically checked the guest information. Xiao Yubai is 17 years old, new to the industry, and has not yet been tainted by the entertainment world's large dye-pot. Still retaining a pure nature, he suddenly spoke up. I've got it. You're a hunter. Good grief. If anyone says he's stupid again, I'll be the first to disagree. Xiao Yubai, seeing that I didn't respond, showed an expression that said, as expected, what purpose could I possibly have? Not yet a daily good deed. My gaze swept past Xiao Yubai, landing on Gu Yicheng. Page 186. Read it yourself. Gu Yicheng immediately flipped to page 186. His expression changed instantly as he turned to look at me. What happens if you eat a poisonous fruit? I took a bite of the steamed bun, speaking indistinctly, nothing major, just need to report to the king of hell a bit earlier. As soon as I finished speaking, a loud thud of a heavy object hitting the ground echoed. Xiaoyu. Gu Yicheng looked at me with red eyes. You saved Xiaoyu. No matter how much money it takes. I was completely stunned. Did he eat poisonous fruit? How much? 1 or 2 is manageable, but if it's more, a dozen or so. I stepped forward to lift Xiaoyubai's eyelids and took his pulse. Gu Yicheng watched me anxiously. 1 million, I frowned, and he raised the price. 2 million, I sighed. Ah, if only I had discovered it earlier, it wouldn't have come to this. Gu Yicheng was so anxious that he grabbed my arm, his eyes pleading. 10 million, I'll give you 10 million, you must save Xiaoyu. My pupils widened in shock. 10 million, that's enough to feed our mountain sect for 20 years. I clenched my fist in secret. After pulling off this job, I'll retire from the circle and return to the mountains to live out my days. Gu Yicheng looked at Xiaoyubai's lips, which had already begun to turn purple, his expression filled with regret. I should have stopped him just now. Patron, no, wait for me, I'll be right back. Remember, as long as I'm by your side, the king of hell won't dare make a move. Gu Yicheng watched the departing figure of someone and her middle school second-year syndrome remarks. Feeling that it wasn't very reliable, he didn't dare to place all his hopes on her alone. I ran to the vicinity of the poisonous fruit, pulled out a few herbs, and ran back. The reason I was able to accurately identify the herbs that could detoxify the poisonous fruit, it's a long story, and long stories often bring tears. I've also mistakenly eaten poisonous berries. When my dad found me, I was vomiting green foam while chewing on wild grass. I had chewed through wild grass all over the mountains and fields, and by the end, my entire face had turned green. My dad took out his phone calmly and recorded a video to post on his moments. To this day, my dad's moments still has that cringe-worthy black history of mine. During holidays and festivals, my disciples and their followers always dig it up to tease me. Let's not talk about it. I ran back to the previous spot with light steps. I was greatly shocked by the scene before me. Where are the people? Inside the cave, the guests gathered around Xiaoyubai. What happened? Weren't you fine when you went out? Chihiyu's eyes darted around uncertainly. She bit her lip, as if making a decision. Should I suck the poison out? Fang Zhuqing secretly gave a thumbs up with one hand. Gu Yicheng said, Xiaoyu accidentally ate a poisonous fruit. Jiang Yandu, with a cold and composed expression, calmly asked, what kind of poisonous fruit did he eat? Did you bring the fruit back? Gu Yicheng recalled the poisonous fruit that had been crushed by someone and shook his head helplessly. Su Lanin suggested, we should still seek help from the production team. This is a matter of life and death. Jiang Yandu nodded in agreement. Xiao Gu, the two of us will take turns carrying Xiaoyu, while Sister Su contacts the production team for support. Alright, that's the only way, Chihiyu suddenly exclaimed, his face showing panic. His lips have turned purple again. Can he still be saved? Shut up. Gu Yicheng shot an annoyed glance at Chihiyu, his eyes hiding a faint trace of anger. He was too impatient to wait any longer, so he hoisted Xiaoyubai from the ground and headed out. Jiang Yandu and Su Lanin followed closely behind. Fang Zhuqing took a few steps before noticing that Chihiyu was still standing in place, shoulders trembling. Aren't you coming? Chi and you stopped crying and slowly raised their eyes, which were red-rimmed. I didn't mean to curse him. Ching won't hate me because of this, right? Fang Zhuqing was speechless. What? Bad luck. With 2 eggs under the eyebrows, they only blink but can't see. What time is it now? And you're still showing off your love-struck brain. The barrage exploded. Is the production team just going to stand by and watch Xiaoyu eat poisonous fruit without even a warning? These days, production teams will do anything for ratings. Cry, cry, cry. Does crying solve anything? The person is almost gone, and you still haven't caught up. If you end up alone again, you'll blame my brother Gu for not taking good care of you. Our Xiaoyu is straightforward and didn't mean to curse him on purpose. That guy surnamed Gu is just too much, speaking without thinking, not seeing how anxious and upset the other person is, and still charging headlong into their line of fire. Who can spoil it for me? What's the relationship between Gu and Xiao? If no one explains, I'm going to start spreading rumors. Everyone, calm down. Don't bring any negativity to our brother. Sister Song is already on her way. Director Jean, watching the live broadcast at the campsite, was as restless as if his seat was on fire. Xiaoyubai is the apple of both the Gu and Xiao family's eyes. If anything really happened to him, the consequences would be beyond what Director Jean could bear. Director Jean held the walkie-talkie, his eyes unblinkingly following Song Xingyu's path. Xiao Song, go left. they're going left. Oh dear, I'm so anxious, did you hear me? Go to the left, you're going the wrong way, it's all over. If something happens to Mr. Xiao, our entire program team is done for. I rubbed my ears, which were aching from the noise. I'm not just wandering aimlessly. Jean immediately fell silent. I quickly climbed up the tree and took out my binoculars. After confirming the route, I tightened the vine and swung towards the guests with its help. Just as the guests were running out of breath, I descended from the sky. Gu Yicheng's eyes lit up as if he had seen hope. He quickly laid Xiao Yubai down on the ground. Did you find the herbs? I took the herbs out of my pocket. Gu Yicheng breathed a sigh of relief. I glanced at Xiao Yubai, whose face was purple, and couldn't be bothered to argue with Gu Yicheng about his unannounced departure. I stuffed the herbs into Gu Yicheng's hands, crushed them and feed them to him. Gu Yi took the herbs but couldn't find anything to grind them with. Without thinking, he was about to put the herbs in his mouth. I quickly stopped him. You can't handle these herbs. Gu Yicheng looked at me anxiously. You'll vomit. What should we do then? You dare to come to the wilderness for survival with just this skill? I took back the herbs and walked over to Xiao Yubai. With limited resources, I could only wash the herbs, stuff them into a mineral water bottle, add a stone inside, and shake it vigorously. Back in the day, the cream for my dad's birthday cake was something I personally whipped up by shaking a mineral water bottle. Shaking out some herbal juice was no trouble for me. A few minutes later, I poured the herbal juice into Xiao Yubai's mouth. After administering the herbal medicine, I glanced at the time on my watch. Wait 5 minutes. This herbal remedy induces vomiting and is highly effective. You poor kid. Let's see if you dare to eat anything from the forest again. The guests observed Xiao Yubai's expression while keeping a close eye on me. I understand. They're afraid I don't have the skills, but am taking on a difficult task. If Xiao Yubai can't be saved, the responsibility falls on me. No matter. As long as the money is right, everything is fine. Director Jean just spent 2 million to have me save him a few herbs in exchange for 12 million. What a steal. The guests stood by, anxiously watching. I calmly found a few stones and set up a makeshift stove. I took out a pot, a bottle of water, and a bag of 5-pack instant noodles from my backpack, picked up some dry firewood, started a fire, and boiled water. Fang Zhuqing looked astonished. How do you have instant noodles? Didn't Director Jean say we couldn't bring them? Director Jean said we couldn't bring them, but he never said there aren't any in the forest. I pointed at the tree trunk, climbed up in front of the guests, retrieved the supplies hidden in the tree, and casually picked up 2 bird eggs along the way. The guests exchanged puzzled glances. Before the broadcast began, the director had announced the rule that each person could only choose 3 items of supplies. As for food, the production team only provides compressed biscuits, chocolate, and water. They truly couldn't imagine that the director would hide the supplies in the trees. Learned another new skill. Does she have a medical license? Just casually feeding people herbal medicine. Oh my god, Sister Han climbs trees more smoothly than I climb stairs. If I say Sister Han is a monkey, no one would disagree, right? Song Xingyu, you better not sleep too soundly tonight, kid. Keep one eye open on guard. I tore open a bag of instant noodles, dumped the noodle block, vegetable packet, seasoning, and oil packet all in, and cracked the bird egg into the pot. The aroma of instant noodles instantly filled the air, wildly stimulating the guests' nostrils. Fang Zhuqing stared at the instant noodles in the pot, swallowing hard. She wore a flattering smile on her face. Can Zhu have a bite too? Ugh. An untimely sound of vomiting rang out. Gu Yicheng quickly stepped forward to pat Xiao Yubai's back. Xiao Yubai lay in the grass, vomiting until the world seemed to turn dark. I filled a stainless steel bowl with a serving of instant noodles, took a few bites of the noodles, and then set the bowl down. I crouched in front of Xiao Yubai, one hand taking his pulse, the other lifting his chin. Xiao Yubai's complexion had turned from cyanosis to pale. How do you feel now? Xiao Yubai's eyes were red, tinged with a hint of grievance and pain. I feel a little hungry. He glanced at the instant noodles wafting with aroma, his eyes filled with intense anticipation. I smiled at him. Want some noodles? Xiao Yubai's eyes sparkled brightly, just like the Tibetan mastiff I used to raise. I forced myself to resist the urge to smooth his hair and firmly refused him. No, little brother, you're weak and shouldn't eat greasy food. Oh, Xiao Yubai hung his head low, looking small, pitiful, and helpless. Gu Yicheng couldn't stand it any longer. Eating just a little bit shouldn't be a problem, right? I slurped a mouthful of instant noodles, then beckoned to Gu Yicheng. After Gu Yicheng leaned in, I signaled for him to turn off the camera. When I said he was physically weak, I didn't mean it literally. His body contains a rare toxin that triggers the toxicity of the poisonous fruit. Gu Yicheng's expression changed. What do you mean? This toxin has accumulated over the years. I stopped there. Gu Yicheng's face was ashen, yet he struggled to restrain his fury. I will get to the bottom of this matter. I don't care about the infighting within your family, but since I've agreed to step in, I will definitely cure him. Gu Yicheng fell silent for a few seconds before loosening his clenched hand. Thank you. From today onward, you are an honored guest of both the Gu and Xiao families. I noticed that Gu Yicheng's gaze toward me held an added layer of respect. Ahem, I feel unworthy of such honor. I stepped in for the sake of the money, not because I had nothing better to do and meddled in others' affairs. After eating and drinking my fill, I lay down on the rock, leisurely crossing my legs and swaying them a few times. I noticed everyone else's eyes were fixed on me. Oh no, my persona is ruined. I quickly adjusted my sitting posture and spoke in a coquettish tone. Alright, big brother, I'll help take care of little brother's health these days. After we get out, you can take him to Longxi Mountain to find me. Okay. Gu Yicheng seemed a bit stunned, his eyes carrying a hint of confusion. Longxi Mountain, isn't that? I quickly interrupted him. Keep it low-key. Gu Yicheng understood and gave me a knowing look. Seeing the intimate interaction between the two, Chi Hiyu's mind went blank, and she lowered her eyes, not knowing what she was thinking. Netizens were bursting with curiosity, darting around the guest live streams, eager to catch the first glimpse of the action. What are they whispering about that our esteemed member can't hear? I read their lips through the lens of the small pool, but I dare not say it, fearing for my life. What did they say? Tell me quickly, don't make me beg on my knees. My point is that Gu Ge and Song Jia are a perfect match, aren't they? I'm rooting for the green tea bandit and the younger puppy dog couple. Help, the little brother is underage. Shipping anything and everything will only harm you. Please let my sister Song shine alone. Okay. After finishing the instant noodles in the pot, I took out a small porcelain bottle from my bag and handed it to Xiao Yubai. Here, it's for replenishing qi and blood. Xiao Yubai took the porcelain bottle and still couldn't resist asking, can I really not eat instant noodles? I hadn't even spoken yet. Gu Yicheng directly gave him a big slap. Whatever teacher Song, little teacher Song tells you to eat, you eat it. Stop whining. Xiao Yubai was stunned for a moment. Little uncle, you hit me. You actually hit me. That expression was exactly like the reaction of Sister Ming after she got hit. Gu Yicheng was feeling overwhelmed, but for the sake of his young nephew's health, he wouldn't easily compromise. I successfully infiltrated the guest group. The other guests all welcomed my arrival. Besides the pond and the rain, her gaze at me was filled with hostility. It doesn't matter. In my eyes, the pond and the rain are just a shining 660,000. I never quibble over money. Today is the first day of the variety show recording. According to my agreement with director Jean, I have to wait until the 7th day to start hunting the guests. I try my best to play the role of a useless green tea who just eats and freeloads. Seeing a crow, I scream, crow, I'm scared. When a small snake crawls by, I throw myself towards Jiang Yundo, then make a quick turn and cling to Fang Zhuqing. Luckily, I reacted quickly, otherwise, a scandal would have erupted. I blinked my eyes. You scared me to death, brother, hurry up and chase the snake away. Fang Zhuqing is speechless. Jiang Yundo is speechless. Fang Zhuqing grits his teeth. Babe, can you stop acting? Are you really afraid of snakes? I jumped to the ground and strategically acted coquettishly. Oh dear, Zhu is so fierce, it scared me. Fang Zhuqing pushed me under a tree, encouraging this delicate green tea girl to climb up and find supplies. Come on, I'll time you. Show me your true abilities. Sob sob sob. That's just too much. How could you make a pure, innocent green tea girl who can't even tie a chicken climb a tree with her bare hands? I nimbly climbed up the tree, grabbed the supply package from the branches, and tossed it down. Blind box delivery, little flying monkey delivery too. Fang Zhuqing's eyes were filled with love as she looked at me. You are my god, she said. I blushed. Fang Zhuqing continued, the only monkey god. I feigned sadness and turned away. Alright, as long as Zhu is happy, the rest can be left to the viewers in the live stream. Ha ha ha. The viewers in the live stream are here too. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Green tea Song's crash scene. I've already recorded it and sent it to Sister Song for repeated viewing. I timed it. Sister Song climbed up and down the tree in less than 10 seconds. The green tea bandit lives up to its name. In the evening, Gu Yicheng and I caught a wild chicken and made a pot of curry potato chicken. Seeing me and Gu Yicheng coming and going together, Chi Hiyu hid in a corner sulking by himself. I asked Feng Zhuqing to call her for dinner. Chi Hayu said angrily, I won't eat food cooked by a stranger, I'm just stubborn, and I'm going to be mad at myself. Feng Zhuqing, the master of anti-pretentiousness, took a bite of chicken and mumbled, all right then. Chi Hayu looked at her in disbelief. Feng Zhuqing ate the tenderly stewed chicken, deliberately making smacking sounds with her mouth. Chi Hayu could endure it, but her stomach, which had been empty all day, could not. A loud growl made Chi Hayu extremely embarrassed. Several people turned their heads toward the sound. Gu Yicheng glanced at her before shifting his gaze away. Su Lanin turned to look at me, and I gave a slight nod. After receiving approval, Su Lanin waved to Chi Hayu, Xiaoyu, come over and have some. This curry chicken is stewed until tender and flavorful. It smells amazing. I'm not hungry. It's too stuffy in here. I'm going out for some fresh air. Chi Hayu ran out of the cave. Overwhelmed with unexpressed grievances and embarrassment, Su Lanin called out several times in a row but received no response. Gu Yicheng kept glancing outside the cave, somewhat distracted. Feng Zhuqing couldn't set her mind at ease. I'll go look for her. Let me go instead. I'm familiar with the forest. I set down my bowl and chopsticks, grabbed Gu Yicheng, and walked out of the cave amidst the curious glances of the other guests. Walked 100 meters or so. I blocked Gu Yicheng in front of a big tree. The camera hidden in the tree blinked with red light. CP fans are ecstatic. Our tough sister's way of pursuing love is just this simple and direct. Next, should we have a forest play? Upstairs, please put on your underwear. I declare today as the celebration day for our Yixing CP fans. I know you're all very happy, but hold your excitement for a moment. Let's hear what my sister Song has to say. My sister Song's demeanor doesn't look like a confession. It seems more like she's accusing someone. I looked at Gu Yicheng. Don't drag me into your quarrel. Gu Yicheng's emotions trembled violently in his eyes. After a long while, he awkwardly asked, how did you know? I gave my trademark fake smile. My eyes are like a ruler. Do you really think you can hide your little tricks from me? You've been sneaking glances at others all afternoon, thinking you're so well hidden. Gu Yicheng, caught in the act, scratched the back of his head, feeling a bit embarrassed. We've already broken up. I secretly rolled my eyes. The mouth is the hardest part of the whole body. I pretended to be worried. It's so dark out. If a defenseless young girl like her encounters wild animals or something, she'll be in trouble. The beasts in this forest just love little girls like Xiaoqi, fair and tender. Gu Yicheng's expression turned panicked, yet he instinctively wanted to argue. I cut off his unspoken words. All right, if there's a misunderstanding, clear it up promptly. She went to the right. As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Yicheng ran directly in the direction I pointed. Watching his retreating figure, I sighed silently. Both of them are stubborn, so one has to be the first to back down. As a hunter, I also have to act as a mediator for the guests. If this marriage can be arranged, I must ask Gu Yicheng for an extra-large matchmaker's red envelope. The livestream audience was stunned. What does that mean? I don't understand. Ha ha ha, you've mistaken the sister-in-law. So Gu Yicheng and Chi Hayu are a couple. I've been dying to share this. A friend in the industry is here under a pseudonym to gossip. Gu and Chi are childhood sweethearts. They were a couple in high school, but then Chi went abroad. It's said they broke up due to being apart too much, but judging by the current situation, the reason for their breakup is worth reconsidering. Hee. By Song fans are ecstatic. I'll wait for my brother to grow up and bravely pursue love. Everyone, look, my brother Du is coming out to find sister Song. Xingyan CP, straight into the fandom. Jiang Yandu grew somewhat concerned when he saw that they had been out for so long without returning. He followed their footprints and came over, immediately spotting a certain monkey squatting on a tree trunk, looking quite excited. Hearing footsteps, I looked down. Seeing that Jiang Yandu was about to speak, I quickly raised a finger to my lips, signaling him to be quiet. Jiang Yundo understood and didn't speak further. Just as I was about to climb down the tree, I noticed that Jiang Yundo had somehow climbed up the trunk as well and was squatting beside me. I looked at him thoughtfully, but suddenly, Jiang Yundo turned my face towards him. I kissed. Warm breath sprayed against my ear. I had no mind left to think about which school Jiang Yandu studied under. I pulled out my binoculars. Wow, I almost missed the highlight of my matchmaking career. Tisk, I thought it would be Xiaogu kissing Xiaoqi, but it turned out to be Xiaoqi forcing a kiss on Xiaogu. The deep voice seemed to pour in right next to my ear, sending a tingling sensation. I shuddered and subtly shifted to the side. The watermelon maker and the watermelon eater both appeared in the live stream. Hey, is this a restricted idol drama scene that I, an ordinary user who didn't spend any money, can watch. What? My husband and my wife are together, can I join them? The main point is companionship. I love my husband, I love my wife, my husband loves my wife, so by substitution, both my husband and wife love me. With logic this sharp, are you preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam? As long as it's a serious relationship, I fully support it. Duga and Sister Song are so close. Nebula fits perfectly, cheering from the bottom of the pit. Half an hour later, Chi He and you pulled Gu Yicheng back. Chi Heiyue had a smile on his face and took the initiative to step forward to apologize when he saw me. Xiao Yu, Ching explained everything to me. I misunderstood your relationship, I'm sorry. I looked at Gu Yicheng, who stood behind Chi Heiyue with a meek expression, and couldn't help but smile like a proud aunt. It's alright, as long as you two have cleared up the misunderstanding, that's what matters. Fate isn't easy to come by, so cherish it well. Chi Heiyue's eyes were slightly red, and she suddenly rushed forward to hug me. I stretched out my arms, ready to embrace the beauty. The next second, I was suspended in midair. Chi Heiyue, who had missed, pulled Gu Yicheng and ran away without looking back. I turned my head and saw Jiang Yunfu's face. It's getting late, go back and rest early. I understand the logic, but you picked me up with just one hand as a fierce bandit. I feel quite embarrassed. Understand? Jiang Yunfu put me down on the ground as if nothing had happened. What are we having for breakfast tomorrow morning? I forcibly cut off the national curse that was about to burst out. Let's have porridge. We just happen to have some millet, okay? After the misunderstanding was cleared up, Chi and you started clinging to me, calling me star baby one after another. Gu Yicheng's words always had a sour tone. With my tree climbing skills, Fang Zhuqing fell straight into the pit and became my #1 fan. Su Lanin is everyone's elder sister, gentle in temperament, speaking softly with a warm tone, and her eyes subtly exude a nurturing, maternal glow. Over the next 3 days, I led the guests in searching through the supplies that the program team had prepared in advance. On the 5th day, the program team cut off the supply of materials delivered by drone. The supplies I collected are enough for us to last until the last day. After spending these days together, I have formed deep friendships with the other guests, but these bonds mean nothing in the face of the huge reward. On the 7th day, I deliberately got up early to prepare a final breakfast for the guests. I, Song, am patriotic, not dedicated, somewhat honest, but not friendly. I plan to drug the guests, demand ransom from Director Jean, simple, crude, and efficient. When I returned with a pot of washed rice, the cave was empty. Not a single trace of the guests remained. After a few seconds of confusion, I took out the earphones I had hidden in my pocket for 6 days. No matter how I called out, there was no response from Director Jean through the earphones. Fine, you're teaming up to mess with me, huh? I stuffed the earphones back into my pocket and took out the few compressed biscuits I had left in my backpack. I finished the biscuits with water, replenished my strength, and officially set foot on the path a hunter should take. Stepping out of the cave, I crouched down to examine the footprints on the ground. The footprints were somewhat chaotic, with signs of being deliberately tampered with. The most reasonable explanation is that Jin Dao betrayed me and revealed my true identity to the guests. Whether I am the hunter or the hunter hunts me, I am destined to win this game. I retrieved the hunter's tools hidden outside the cave and officially embarked on the path of hunting that a hunter should take. Director Jean couldn't find a suitable hunter for the time being. He simply decided to flip the script entirely, let the 6 guests become temporary hunters and hunt down the only real hunter, Song Xingyu. Taking advantage of Song Xingyu's absence, the guests quickly pack up and make a run for it. Due to the overwhelming strength of the opponent, the guests can only outsmart them. Step 1. Lull the opponent into a false sense of security. The guest team sent out their weakest member, Xiao Yubai. Xiao Yubai reluctantly collapsed under a tree not far from the cave. As soon as I stepped out of the cave, I spotted Xiao Yubai unconscious under the large tree. I rushed over to check on Xiao Yubai's condition. His complexion was rosy, his pulse steady, and he didn't look at all like someone who was injured. I pulled out a prop kitchen knife and pressed it against Xiao Yubai's neck, then blew a cold breath into his ear. Xiao Yu, did you already know my true identity? I brought out the acting skills I had honed for years and said in a low voice, if that's the case, then I won't spare any thought for our shared hardships. Xiao Yubai, pretending to be unconscious, couldn't help but twitch involuntarily. As I spoke, I slowly moved the blade of the fake kitchen knife along Xiao Yubai's neck, still pretending, your friends are really ruthless, pushing you out to die. Then I can only congratulate you on becoming my first captive. Xiao Yubai suddenly rolled to the right and awkwardly lay on the ground. Sis, I surrender. spare the child, Sisterine ran that way, she has a high bounty, go chase her. Xiao Yubai winked at me, signaling frantically. Following his indication, I looked in that direction and just caught a glimpse of a fleeting corner of a garment. Su Lanin, who was staking out nearby, quickly hid behind a tree. She gently patted her heart, which was about to leap out of her chest, and trembling, took out her walkie-talkie. Mission failed. Little fish one has been bewitched by the enemy and has defected. Using the vines, I swiftly closed in, landed steadily, and snatched Su Lanin's walkie-talkie. Little fish 2 has been captured by the enemy. Over. I turned off the walkie-talkie, my eyes fixed intently on Su Lanin's pale face, waiting for her excuses. Su Lanin forced a fake smile, her hands trembling and unsure of where to place them. Hee. Little you, good morning, have you eaten? I just came out to pick wild vegetables. Su Lanin's eyes widened, revealing a pitiful expression. I was forced to do it. Xiao Yubai walked over slowly with a dogtail grass in his mouth. A red cloth was tied around his wrist, marking him as captured. Sisterine, stop pretending. I crossed my arms and watched her act with a smirk. Su Lanin decided not to act anymore and just let things fall apart. Hee. I was just kidding. I was indeed one of them. Just now, but from this moment on, I am yours. Song Xingyu, as if afraid that I wouldn't believe her, Su Lanin even raised 3 fingers as if swearing an oath. I, Su Lanin, renounce the darkness and join the Song family. I will live as a member of the Song family, and die as a member of the Song family. I interrupted her, took out a red cloth strip from my backpack, and tied it around her wrist. Su Lanin, out. Su Lanin glanced at the red cloth strip on her wrist, but her face showed no sign of sadness at being eliminated. Instead, she seemed to relax. She grabbed my hand and whispered in my ear, that director is such a scoundrel, he's really not human. Live broadcast room, ha. As long as I surrender fast enough, the director can't stop me. The director's twist completely disregards Sister Song's well-being. For those who don't understand, is there a difference between 1v6 and 6v1? Haha, for ordinary people, that would be a big problem, but for Sister Song, it's no big deal at all. Friendly reminder, my Sister Song's record is 1v500. Director Jean, far away at the campsite, suddenly sneezed. He pulled his clothes tighter and took out his walkie-talkie. Please, hunters, stay true to yourselves and do not be swayed by the enemy's temptations. Director Jean glanced at Chi Hiyue, who was about to raise the white flag and surrender voluntarily, and emphasized even more, especially you, Xiao Qi. Surrendering voluntarily means you'll have to face punishment. Chi Hiyue, who was trying to persuade Gu Yicheng to surrender, silently rolled his eyes. Ah Cheng, listen to me, sweep aside morality and be yourself again. Gu Yicheng looked at her helplessly, but this goes against principles. These words seemed to touch a nerve in Chi Hiyue. She shook off Gu Yicheng's hand. Principles, damn your principles, go live with your principles. Chi Hiyue stormed off angrily. Master of principles, Gu Yicheng slapped his forehead and quickly chased after her. We surrender to Master Song. Fang Zhuqing sat under the big tree, munching on fruit while enjoying the drama. Young couples, so lovey-dovey for the director's bonus. She, Fang, would never surrender voluntarily. I grabbed the vines and climbed down the tree trunk. Hanging upside down, I approached silently, brushing Fang Zhuqing's neck with the ends of my hair. Fang Zhuqing raised her hand to scratch, completely unaware of the danger approaching, and resumed munching on her fruit. I raised my hand and patted her on the shoulder. Fang Zhuqing's body stiffened, and she slowly lifted her head with difficulty. I held up the imitation kitchen knife and grinned. Little flying monkey is here again. Ah, Fang Zhuqing was so scared she was scrambling around looking for her head. I did a somersault and landed right in front of Fang Zhuqing. Fang Zhuqing sat on the ground, scooting backward. Monkey, Sister Song, I know where Jiangyingdi is. I can trick him into coming here to offer him to you. Fang Zhuqing cautiously probed. If you catch him, you can't catch me anymore, right? In the live stream, this woman is terrifyingly scary. Sister Fang, looking at it from this angle, you definitely have nightmares. Please, horror movie directors, cast my Sister Song in a film. I want to see it. Sister Fang, don't say anything. The film emperor is standing right behind you. I glanced at Jiang Yunpu, whose expression was complicated, standing behind Fang Zhuqing. Alright, then knock him out and send him over. Fang Zhuqing nodded firmly and fished out a large wooden stick from the bushes. No problem, I'm on it. Jiang Yundao spoke lightly. No need, I'm already here. Fang Zhuqing speechless. Save me, save me. Fang Zhuqing was so embarrassed she could dig a hole with her toes. Being caught red-handed while scheming against someone, Fang Zhuqing didn't dare to look back, her little brain working frantically. Should she feint or should she faint? Fang Zhuqing hadn't had the chance to showcase her exquisite acting skills. Jiang Yunfu approached. There's someone in the forest. I looked at him puzzledly. What do you mean? People other than us, right? They have dangerous weapons. I suspect they are poachers. Poachers. I pondered for a few seconds with my eyes down, then said to him, there are endangered animals in the deepest part of the forest. Jiang Yandu smiled and said, game paused. Shall we cooperate? Okay. Fang Zhuqing also raised her hand. If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. I smiled at her. Why don't you use the trap you prepared for me on them first? Fang Zhuqing, how did you know? I shrugged indifferently. No way, right, you're not using traps, so you're planning to defeat me by force. Jiang Yundu was speechless. Fang Zhuqing laughed it off. It's perfect for dealing with poachers, making the most of it. I gathered the guests together. Among the 6 guests, except for Jiang Yundu, everyone else had bright red cloth strips tied around their wrists. The traps the guests had prepared for me earlier were a net woven from vines. I looked at the huge net, frowned, and asked, when did you find out I was a hunter? This net couldn't have been woven in just a few hours. The guests fell silent one by one. Chi Hiyu mercilessly betrayed them. I only found out this morning. They knew on the first day. Gu Yicheng suddenly covered Chi Hiyu's mouth. I chuckled. Perfect. I was still feeling guilty about my hunter identity, climbing up and down to take care of them. Turns out they had already started exploiting my guilt. The guests bowed their heads in shame. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Jiang Yunfu broke the silence. Who led the enemy into the trap? The other guests instinctively looked at me. I snorted lightly, clenching my fist until it creaked. I'm afraid I won't be able to resist crushing their dog heads. The guests were speechless. Fang Zhuqing raised her hand. I'll go. Forget it, I'll go with you. Fang Zhuqing looked at me with a face full of gratitude. Fang Zhuqing lay on the ground howling, while I crouched in the tree looking for an opportunity to strike. Brother, I think I hear someone shouting for help. Yi Xiaoyang frowned, his face full of vigilance. There must be something fishy when things go against the norm. A woman's scream suddenly echoing through this deep, remote forest. No matter how you thought about it, it just didn't seem right. Yi Xiaoyang pulled back Yi Xiaochen, who was about to head toward the direction of the trap. Don't go over there. Let's go this way. Yi Xiaochen was puzzled. What if someone really gets hurt? Yi Xiaoyang, frustrated, said, have you forgotten why we're here? Yi Xiaochen stopped in his tracks, silent. Poaching, in essence, is a crime. Yi Xiaoyang gripped the somewhat worn anesthetic gun in his hand. Those with special tastes among the wealthy pay high prices for wild animals, with a single tiger fetching a reward of over $1 million. If it weren't for his wife's serious illness, he wouldn't have risked going into the mountains to do something illegal. The two of them walked down another small path. I was just about to follow them. Another group appeared from behind. Compared to the 2 brothers, these 5 were much better equipped. I turned on the walkie-talkie and explained the situation to Jiang Yandu. There are 2 teams, and their target is likely the same. Jiang Yandu's voice came through the walkie-talkie. The director said they've already called the police and contacted the forest ranger team. Alright, I'll follow and check the situation. Be careful, don't act impulsively, protect yourself. Alright, I cut off the conversation, grabbed the vines, and followed. When I arrived, the brothers were detained, and those people smeared powder on them. Don't kill me, I'm just an ordinary person. What did you smear on us? A man in a black hardshell jacket slowly and methodically wiped the anesthesia gun in his hand with a soft cloth. Special scented powder. Animals that smell it will come to you on their own. The man looked up, his gentle smile tinged with excitement. You guys go ahead and play with them first. After speaking, the man waved his hand. The gang members attached miniature cameras to the brothers' jackets and made a cut on their arms under the coercion of the others. The brothers were forced to run deeper into the forest. The man curled his lips into a smile. The show begins. Animals have keen sense of smell, and many use it to perceive their surroundings. These fools, using so much perfume, truly aren't afraid of triggering a stampede. I climbed to the end of the tree and used binoculars to investigate the situation. Deep within the dense forest, shadows flickered among the trees. Can't wait any longer. I gripped the vine tightly and swung over. I shouted to the brothers, don't run around, find some mud to smear on yourselves to block the scent. The fleeing brothers paused, looking around for mud. My cry drew the attention of the gang. They immediately raised their shotguns and aimed them at me. Bullets flew, and I tightened my grip on the vines, somersaulting in midair to dodge them. I kicked the nearest gunman, sending him flying into a tree trunk. His shotgun slipped from his hands and fell to the ground. After picking up the shotgun from the ground, I quickly climbed up the tree. I hid behind the tree trunk as a speeding bullet whizzed past my ear and embedded itself into another tree. I heard the man in the windbreaker shout loudly, "Real life CS, thrilling, whoever hits her gets a reward of 1 million, thank you, Master Goo." The gunmen grew increasingly excited and charged over with their hunting rifles. "Little girl, come out, if you get hit by me again, you'll just start crying." The man whose gun was taken scrambled to his feet, holding his waist and cursing, "You bitch, you dare ambush me. Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson, so you know what it means to be obedient and virtuous." I'm utterly speechless. Where on earth did these lunatics come from? The sound of rustling footsteps reached my ears. I wrapped the vines around my waist, pulled the earphone case from my pocket, and tossed it aside. Gunshots rang out one after another. I kicked off the tree trunk, using the force to propel myself forward. Bang, bang, bang. Holding the shotgun, I fired shot after shot, each bullet hitting the shooters in the thighs or arms. A scene of wailing. I untangled the vines and quickly knocked the gunman unconscious with the butt of the gun. I pulled a few vines to tie up the gunman. A muffled groan suddenly came from behind. Jiang Yundo plunged the wooden arrow into the palm of a gunman. I glanced at the dagger by the gunman's side. "Thank you." Jiang Yundo and I together tied up the gunman. The man known as Guyi stealthily made his way to the rear. After running just a few meters, a sharp wooden arrow was aimed at his neck. His voice began to tremble. Do you know who I am?" Jiang Yundo chuckled softly. "Guyi, long time no see." Guyi swallowed hard. "If you know who I am, why don't you let me go right away, idiot?" I stepped forward and gave him a big slap. "My dad won't let you get away with this." "Ah, stop hitting me. Take it easy." "Ah, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts." I beat Guyi up fiercely. The barrage in the live stream filled the screen. "Ah, my sister Song is definitely a triple threat artist. As Star Treasure's first fan, my precious Star Treasure has finally been discovered. Star Treasure, go viral. Directors looking to shoot big female-led dramas. Take a look at our sister Song. With these skills and this face, she's definitely a potential blockbuster drama in the making." Guyi Cheng, who had rushed over, looked at the man who had been beaten black and blue, barely able to recognize his features from the outline. Guyi, the man, upon hearing his name, shuddered violently. Guyi glanced at Guyi Cheng and shrank back his neck. "Uncle." Guyi Cheng kicked him right away. "Alright, Guyi, you've really grown some guts, huh, learning from others to poach, and even daring to hire someone to kill. Just wait to be locked up." Guyi threw himself forward, clinging to Guyi Cheng's leg, crying and sobbing. "Uncle, I was wrong. Don't send me to the police station. I won't dare anymore. I'll learn to be good from now on." Xiao Yubai chimed in with a sarcastic remark from the side. "Uncle, don't believe his nonsense. He's a sly one. Trusting him to turn over a new leaf is like believing my sister Song is the monkey god." Suddenly being called out, I squinted my eyes. "How rude of you." I took the imitation kitchen knife clipped at my waist and swiftly pressed it against Jiang Yundu's neck. I said with a smile, "Jiang Yundu, out." Jiang Yundo raised his hands, responding with a smile. "Go easy." The director, who had arrived at the scene with the forest rangers, let out an awkward laugh. "Congratulations to Hunter Song Xingyu for completing the hunting mission, as the guest team has been completely wiped out." The director ignored my gaze and manually clapped the slate. Celebrity 7-Day Escape Season 2 Episode 1 concluded successfully. The variety show recording has ended. We walked out of the VIP passage. Fans waiting to pick up the flight filled the hall. Sister Han, look at me. Master, please take me as your disciple." Song Bao, Mom loves you. "Ah, my baby is looking at me." After debuting for so many years, it's the first time fans have come to meet me at the airport. Such enthusiasm truly left me in awe, signing autographs until my hand cramped up. I finally managed to persuade the fans who came to pick me up at the airport to go back. I saw another familiar face. Jiang Yandu stepped forward to greet him. "Master, have you come to pick me up?" Song Yan glanced at him and walked past him toward my direction. Song Yan respectfully bowed. "Little ancestor master, our branch of the family tends to marry and have children later. My father is 3 generations apart from his peers. By the time it came to my generation, I was 6 generations apart from my peers with 6 generations added. It's not too much to call me little ancestor, right?" I pulled Song Yan up, smiling as I said, "Keep it low-key. Keep it low-key. Jiang Yanda looked astonished. Only then did Song Yan remember to introduce him. Little ancestor. This is Xiao Du, my final disciple, and also a Yu's grandson. Has a Yu's grandson grown this big already? Jiang Yandu was dumbfounded upon hearing the conversation. You know my grandmother, I put on a mysterious smile and said to him, since you're Ayu's grandson, you should call me great aunt. Jiang Yandu's expression instantly changed, his smile beginning to crumble. What, great aunt? I smiled and replied, yes, my dear grandson. Jiang Yandu was speechless. 22. Although the director is a bad person, the promised reward money was still deposited into my account as agreed. With a large sum of money in hand, I chose to return to the mountains and live a carefree life, despite Sister Zhao's attempts to persuade me to stay. A week later, Gu Yicheng, having resolved the internal conflicts within his family, brought Xiao Yubai to Longxi Mountain to find me. Accompanying them were Qi Heyu, Fang Zhuqing, and Jiang Yandu, who wore a cold expression from start to finish. Star baby, monkey sister, auntie granny, I responded with a smile, treating them with the highest hospitality, and specially showed them the banner given to me by the police. In the evening, I brought out a pot of carefully stewed curry chicken. Try my cooking. The happier they ate, the more frequently they got up at night. I turned around, went back to my room, and turned off the lights to sleep. A fierce bandit seeks revenge, and 7 days is not too late. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.